and sit down.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back once again to Vicious Rants. And of course, I am your host, Mr. Main Event himself, the often imitated, never duplicated Suicide Tim Vicious. And gonna go over Raw this week was in Greensboro, North Carolina. And, well, before we get into Raw, just like always, we're gonna switch gears and talk about last week via the SmackDown Rewind and the big highlights from last week's SmackDown. Well, I gotta tell you, I was actually fairly impressed. I mean, the show started out with the Queen of the Ring tournament match. It was Bianca versus Tiffany, and oh my God, but according to the internet, they said that match wasn't gonna happen, and apparently Montez Ford put a thing on his Instagram or Twitter or something saying he's a father of 7, and Tiffany apparently put out a video which a lot of people didn't like, and there was a whole bunch of rigmarole about whether or not that match is going to happen or whatever, and it was just, I don't know. It was a whole lot of nothing about nothing. That's all I got to say on that. You know, like I always say, take the rumor and gossip and such with a grain of salt. But either way, Bianca versus Tiffany was a really great match. I thoroughly frickin' enjoyed it. I thought that was a damn good opening match. Just not even opening match, just a damn good match, period. Now, Bianca, she got the win. So she's going to be moving on. She's now in the semifinals for the Queen of the Ring for the SmackDown side. And then we had Tama Tonga going against L.A. Knight. Yeah, dummy. Yeah, let me talk to you. So, and I really liked this match, and I thought it was a good match. Welcoming, or not welcoming, get the words right. A good showing for what Tama can do. Excuse me. I thought it was a good match showing what Tama can do for those who may not know about the kind of work he's done over in New Japan. Because, yes, contrary to popular belief, not all wrestling fans watch all forms of wrestling. You know? I mean, you'd have to be a pretty big wrestling nerd to pay attention to all the other kind of promotions. Okay, I can put my hand down now. So, there's my cheap shot at myself for the year. But, good match. Tama Tonga got the win. But honestly, the biggest takeaway from that, more than anything, was the little backstage segment they showed beforehand of Tama Tonga just walking around doing, yeah. And honestly, the first thing my brain went to was looking like fucking Beavis from Beavis and Butthead. Just needed a shirt over his head, putting his arms up, saying he needs TP for his bunghole. Like, yeah. But then we had the contract signing between Cody and Logan Paul. It was Cody on one side, Nick Aldis in the middle as the mediator, and Logan Paul with his cronies being very douche-nozzly. And yes, douche-nozzly is a word I just made up. Saying that this contract is not the one he agreed to sign, because this contract states it's a title versus title match, and he feels Cody has not earned that right. So he had his lawyers draw up a new contract, which he just ever so whimsically presented, saying it's just a match for the WWE title. Nick Aldis started to get hot. Cody stepped in. Whoa, Nick, listen. I've been around with you for long enough. I know how you get when you start to get mad like that. Take a walk, man. Just take a walk. I'll finish this up. Alright. Get that signed. And then they proceed to go trash talking each other for a minute. Logan brings up the Jake Paul Tyson fight coming up in July. Cody winds up making references to it also. They both go back and forth with each other for a minute. Blah, 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 blah. They sign the papers. Bing, bang, boom. Yeah, it's official now. On another related note, this definitely is a huge sign about being in the Triple H era. We had a contract signing that did not end in shenanigans. Or somebody getting, or, you know, someone getting beat up in a very bad way and getting put through tables and chairs and broken glass and all that kind of crazy horse shit. Just, ooh. True sign we are in the Triple H Renaissance era. So, then we had another Queen of the Ring match. It was Nia Jax versus Jade Cargill, and I'm going to be honest, and I'm a level witches. I didn't, at first when the match ended, I was not a fan of it. Nia won via DQ because it went for about maybe, it felt like maybe a minute and a half, but it was honestly longer. It felt like it was probably like maybe 3 or 5 minutes, but it felt like maybe a minute and a half to me. But Jade was doing strong, then they got to the outside. Jade went over to the barricade where her daughter was, gave her a hug, "Mommy loves you, sweetie," and then proceeded to go back to work. Nia beats her up, and right in front of her daughter, and then gets in her daughter's face. "Your mommy sucks," this, that, and the other. Then she goes, grabs a chair. Jade goes, hits her, takes the chair off her, wham, cracks it over, goes full on batshit crazy with it. Ref calls for a bell. It's a DQ. Jade wins via disqualification. Not Jade. Nia wins via disqualification, I'm sorry. So, but the more I thought about it, you know, we're going to get Jade versus Bianca. It's not a matter of if, but when. But it's too soon. It is way too soon. Talk to me January. Maybe. Then maybe I'll be all on board for it. I'm definitely all on board for having it at WrestleMania. But now it feels too early. So, no. And then we had DIY going against Legado del Fantasma. And this, honestly, this was a let me up. This was a popcorn match. Just to help be a gap filler in between for the main event. I'm not complaining. I'm just calling it like it is. But it was nice to see DIY get some TV time. I'm a big fan. Love Johnny Gargano, and for those that know me, know on how much of a big Tommaso Ciampa fan I've been since before he got into WWE. So, always way cool to see on that. But then we had the main event of SmackDown, Randy Orton versus Carmelo Hayes, and good God almighty. I mean, as much as I was paying attention to the in-ring action, and I absolutely loved it, I just couldn't help but take notice of the consistently over the height difference. It was like seeing a full grown-ass man going against like a kid that's just starting to hit puberty. And I'm not saying that as an insult about, you know, guys' figures or anything. I'm just talking height-wise. Because listen, I'm 6'2". My son, 14, going on 15, is already at my height. And I was telling him this earlier today. You know, in about another 4, maybe 6 months, I'm going to have to ask you to sit your ass in a chair so that way I can look at you eye to eye. Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like, it was just like seeing just giant height comparisons, like, holy shit. But yeah, so that was it for SmackDown. So with that said, let's get into this week's show. Raw, Greensboro. It starts out to Sami Zayn. The late great El Generico's favorite wrestler, as well as one of El Generico's last pupil before he passed away. Rest his soul. Sami comes out. He's all hopped up. He's mad because he's storming mad at Chad Gable, who's went off on Gable, talking about, you know, Gable, you helped me. You did. You helped me get past the barrier that was needed to go and win this. To go and beat Gunther and become the Intercontinental Champion. But when you German suplex me out of my wife's hands in front of my 79-year-old father, you damn well better believe you are going to get your ass kicked. And then talking about the triple threat match coming up at King and Queen of the Ring at the Saudi show between Sami, Gable, and Bronson Reed. Now, Gable, this match is set up. I'm coming for you. You want this, you're going to get it. You're not getting this from me. But you want this as a matter of pride because you feel like you earned it, you deserved it. Nah. And then he talks about Bronson Reed. Reed, you want this just because you want it. You want it to establish power, dominance, this, that, and the other. You want this, you're going to have to pry from my cold dead hands. And I'm paraphrasing all of this, mind you. But Sami, he was very hot and very passionate on it. Gable then came out. He had Alpha Academy with him. Alpha Academy all kind of just were like, with their heads down like, I hope Master Gable doesn't say anything mean to me. Chad then goes off talking about on how, Maxxine, you have an opportunity tonight. Let's not blow it again, shall we? Tozawa, I gave you a simple assignment last week. How well did that go? And Otis, I mean this with the utmost love in my heart. You failed me miserably last week. So then he goes on about that and then starts gloating about on how coming up at Saudi Arabia, he's going to wind up beating Sami, and then Sami just looks at him. Hey, Chad, listen, you're dressed up to go. I'm dressed up to go. Ain't nothing saying neither of us can't square up right here, right now. Let's go get this. Let's go do this. Right here, right now. Come on, big boy. So Gable then takes off his boxer's robe, steps into the ring, and then ding, ding, ding. Here we go. First match of the night, Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable. Sami, he's good, leads right up into the commercial break. Gable, he's leading the pace post-break. Really nice. I thought it's really good to see. And at certain points during the match, he was actually asking Alpha Academy to help. Like he had Sami dangling off the rope, asking Maxxine to go. While doing that, throwing little hints and codes at Maxxine to go and like hit him, slap him, choke him on the rope or something. Doesn't, and then Chad just goes off him. What are you doing? What are you doing? Does it again, this time where Tozawa's at. Starts ripping in. Tozawa just looking like, should I? What? And then, again, he goes off ballistic on Tozawa. What are you doing? Why aren't you? You two are useless. And then Gable goes full on referee. You know what? You two are out of here, and throws them both out. Okay, well. And then when it came time for Otis, number one guy, to go and step in. Otis, he doesn't. Gable then chastises him something fierce, rips into him, to where Otis just looks like he's about ready to go and cry. Like he has this look on his face where he looks like he's holding back the tears like, what? You don't have to be so mean, dude. And then he gets back in the ring. Sami starts building a little bit of a comeback. Gable, he's in the corner. Ref's checking on him. Sami's hyping himself up, lining up for the haluva kick. And as he's doing that, Otis then, bam, pops him with the forearm. And then Gable slams him with the Chaos Theory 1, 2, 3. So Chad Gable gets the win. Later on in the show, you see a backstage segment where Otis is apologizing, easy for me to say, to Sami over it. And then he talks to Gable saying, listen, I was apologizing to Sami about what happened in the match. You were apologizing? What for? Why would you apologize to? Oh, I see now. You were just doing that to throw him off, mess with his head, throw him off his game. Otis, my #1 guy. Mwah! I love you. You're so smart and brilliant. I love it. So, yeah. Next up, we had Bron Breakker doing a squash match against an NXT talent called Kale Dixion. Honestly, I've never heard of this guy. If anyone knows anything on this dude, please hit me up. Say something in the comments section below if you're watching on YouTube. Say something in the how'd you like this episode box on Spotify. Or buzz me on Twitter at Tim Vicious and just say, Kale Dixion is such and such. You know, I don't know if he's somebody from the Nile program or if he was an indie guy they just swept up before they started targeting athletes with the Nile program or what. But either way, it was a squash. Breakker came out, looked at him, then just turned around, leaned up against the turnbuckle. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. I'm not in the King of the Ring and now I gotta do this. Really? Really? And then just boom! Zipped out like a freaking bullet out of a gun and speared him. Looked like he almost ripped him in half. And once it was done, and man, he wasn't done there. After that, yeah, well, obviously he got the win. And then afterwards, while the ref's helping Kale up to his feet, Bron, he's just looking. So, boom, 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 bouncing back and forth on the ropes a couple times, and then wham! Takes him down again. Gets him to the outside, slams him on the stairs, props him up against the stairs, and then gets a chair, wham! Cracks it where his head has a meeting of the minds with the chair, stairs, head in the middle for a sandwich. They take him out on a stretcher, they do a stretcher job on him. Pierce is looking at him all sorts of mad. And then you just see Bron looking at him. This is what happens when you because you didn't put me in the King of the Ring. Like, damn. Damn. Fucking pissed. Now we come to Queen of the Ring semifinal match. Or not even semifinal, finals match. Lyra Valkyria versus Io Sky. Oh boy. Needed the heart pills for this one. Definitely needed the heart pills. Yeah. Nice back and forth to start out with. Io, she was leading the pace post-commercial break for the as well as for most of the match. Really good flow. I loved it. You know, trying to think the right way to say this, but the whole time I'm watching it and I'm just thinking, you know, this is very NXT post Four Horsewomen main roster feel for a match. Like WWE Network when at its prime type NXT women's match. If that makes sense. Like when they were doing takeovers every quarter. It felt like one of those kind of matches, and it went and it gelled so good. I liked this match. So, match comes to an end. Io, she goes, drops Lyra down with a massive powerbomb off the ropes. Goes, sets her up to go do her moonsault. Gets in the air, Lyra moves out the way, Io lands on her feet. Lyra then scoops her up, goes and gets ready to hit with the Nightwing. Io wiggles out, comes to the ground, tries to roll her over for a sunset flip pin, and as she's trying, Lyra not moving, and then just boom, drops herself down, scoops up the legs, 1, 2, 3. So your winner is Lyra Valkyria. Excuse me. Lyra gets interviewed in the end, asking her how she feels, how she's feeling, how does she feel knowing she's walking into Jeddah for this coming Saturday for it. And as she's about to do that, she winds up saying something to her and then walks off. So, yeah, unfortunately, I don't know what she said. But yeah. So now we come to tag match. Miz and R-Truth defending their tag titles against Finn Balor and JD McDonagh with Dominik ringside. And Miz and Truth, they're leading right up until Miz winds up getting snuck on, until Finn sneaks Miz from behind, and then Miz winds up becoming the punching bag. Truth winds up getting a hot tag in. It was decent action. It was a good match. Now, the big story on this is before the match, they show a little backstage segment where Truth and Miz are talking, and Miz is saying, listen, we got to go out there. We got to defend our titles against Judgment Day. You know they're going to have some kind of trick. You know they're going to have some kind of something up their sleeve. And Truth just looking at Miz. It's cool, dog. Listen, I made a couple calls, and I got us an ace in the hole. I got us Andre the Giant. Wait. Truth, you got us Andre the Giant? Yeah. Truth, I don't know on how to explain this, but Andre the Giant's been passed away for about 30-something years now. You're about 30 years late. Passed? Where'd he pass away at? Where'd he pass away to? You going to catering? You better not be. Just like that. And R-Truth is R-Truth is a goddamn national treasure. Yeah, I swear. Whenever he chooses to hang his boots up, he needs to go into the Hall of Fame that year. There is no doubt about it. And I would love it. He goes into the Hall of Fame and then thinks it's for, like, it is an honor to receive this ECW Hall of Fame commemorative ceremony award or something like that. Like, Truth, no, it's WWE Hall of Fame. Oh, it is? Yeah. Oh, that's my bad, yo. Just something like that. But either way, as it looks like Judgment Day is going to get the win and they're going to take the titles off Miz and Truth, JD's on the outside working on Truth. Next thing you know, or not Truth, Miz. Next thing you hear, Braun Strowman's music hits. JD turns around like, oh fuck. And then you just see Strowman storming down. JD's running for his life. Literally running circles around the ring until Truth catches him, scoops him up, hits him with an AA in honor of his childhood hero, John Cena. And then gets the 1, 2, 3. So, obviously you see that they're going to have Judgment Day doing a feud with Braun Strowman. I'm cool with that. Especially if that leads to Damian Priest having a championship feud with Strowman, because then that helps with Priest down the road saying, listen, I can take on some pretty bad motherfuckers, including that big 6'8" beefy monster of a man right there. So, yeah. Now we got a fatal 4-way women's tag match. Dakota Kai and Kari saying, let me just say this about that. Dakota Kai? Wow! Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. Zoey Stark and Shayna Baszler. Ivy Nile and Maxxine Dupri. As well as K2, Katana Chance, and Kayden Carter. And there was a car crash right at the start. Like, the second the bell rang, all four teams just, boom, met in the middle and just started slamming into each other. Beating the holy hell until they eventually started to go outside, and then Kayden wound up doing a keg stand off the top rope to land on everyone, and then the match Then that's on how everything calmed down and we started to get some normalcy in there again. But as far, it was a decent match. I gotta give credit where credit's due, man. Maxxine, she was the workhorse in this match. Maxxine Dupri was the workhorse in this match, and you know, a lot of people giving her shit saying, she's greener than goose shit, she's just there because she's a pretty face, blah, 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 blah. You know what? She may just be there for being a pretty face. She may not be greener than goose shit. But you know what? She's still fucking doing the work. And not only that, she's doing way more than you, me, or any other schmuck out there that may be complaining about it is doing. She's out there putting in the reps. What are y'all doing? Sitting on your couch, drinking a beer, eating chips, and complaining about on how a woman who's way more athletic than you is doing work? Yeah. But Maxxine, she was the workhorse. She was like a workhorse in this match. From my perspective anyway, it felt like she did the lion's share of the match. But it was a good one. I dug it. Maxxine wound up eating the pin though. What it was, Zoey and Shayna, they hoisted her up for like an alley-oop kind of thing. And then Shayna just, boom, popped her with a high knee. They got the pin, 1, 2, 3. So your winners, Zoey Stark and Shayna Baszler. Should also note that before the match, Zoey and Shayna, they were in the back stretching, warming up, and then they turned to the side and lo and behold, who's back? None other than Sonya Deville. Ooh, man, this is going to be good. We're going to be getting some good stories soon. So now we come to main event match of the night. Main event, Jey Uso going against the Ring General Gunther for the King of the Ring finals. And Jey, he's leading at the start, just going balls to the wall, all out on Gunther. And very much so, just like last time when he fought him, it was going, like I said, balls to the wall, hitting him with everything he's got. And gotta note this, because the second Michael Cole said it, it happened. Once Jey stepped off the gas a little and slowed down some, that's when Gunther got on the defense and started beating the tar out of him. And that's what happened. He started to slow down a little, then next thing you know, Gunther just, boom! Hit him with some chops. Felt like it was like a mix between hearing a baseball bat hit a slab of beef and a shotgun blast at the same time. Like, oh God. Like, I could feel my soul leaving my body. Those shots hurt that. They had that kind of a shot sound to it, like, ooh, yeah. But then Gunther slamming, wound up working Jey's one shoulder throughout it. I'm fairly certain it was the right shoulder. You know, I could be wrong, but I know he was working his shoulder, but I don't remember if it was the left or right. I'm fairly certain it was the right though. But started working on that shoulder, something fierce, but Gunther, man, he just, once he saw an opening, he was on it. He was on him like a death machine. And Jey, I give him credit where credit's due. He was fighting with everything he's got. But it was not enough. At the end, Gunther got the win. Jey, he was trying to build a comeback. Unfortunately, it fell short. Gunther wound up getting a sleeper locked in to the point where Jey passed out. And then the ref called for the bell the second. And then it was, here is your winner, Gunther! And then it was like within a matter of like 3 seconds after the announcement, boom! Show's over, cut the black. Like, oh, damn. Damn! Now, I'm going to say this. I do not think this takes away from Jey, especially just because of on how much fan reaction he's got behind him. He's got a lot of momentum behind him still. Now, does this mean that he's going to be able to maintain this for between now and for the next 3-4 months, just eating losses when it counts? No, because he's going to have to get some big wins eventually. But short term, I don't think it hurts him. But with that said, folks, that is it for this week's show. Excuse me. So if you're watching this on YouTube, please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, watch some of the other episodes when you can. If you're listening to this on the RSS feed, leave a 5-star review if you feel like we've earned it. Follow the channel. Tell me in the Spotify comments what you liked, what you did not like. Same thing on YouTube. If you did, tell me what you liked, what you didn't like. I can't improve without some kind of constructive criticism. I am always open to hearing it. Also, folks, look for me on the Twitter at Tim Vicious. I'm also out there on that Threads and Blue Sky John also as Tim Vicious there. So, excuse me. Don't forget also to go to whatamaneuver.net for some vicious rants. Apparel helps support the show, folks. We got tanks, we got t-shirts, we got long sleeves. If you're crazy enough to wear that in 80-something degree weather during the summer. We also got baby onesies and toddler tees. Thank you to LF2 contributors show LFC Lingerie Fighting Championship. There are a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of MMA, and a whole lot of attractive women wearing a little bit of nothing. Thank you. Also, folks, do not forget to follow these cool-ass cats on the Twitter. DSB_IV, main event_net, the main event wrestling network Twitter account. Sergeant Curry Pants, 3 Count Thursday, and D-Dryer 1986. And folks, like I always tell y'all, if you love me great, you hate me. Well, fuck this.